What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 9 of the story of Ricky Holberman. As you guys are well aware by now, he was traded by the team that drafted him, the Boston Red Sox, in the last episode to the Colorado Rockies. And I got to tell you, near the end of the season, he started really picking it up and really starting to get the feel of that Colorado air. I like what this move is going to be able to do for Holberman's stats and his career numbers. As long as he stays here in Colorado, we'll just have to see how this all pans out, right? Moving on. Opening day, 2020, against the Chicago Cubs, facing off against the left-hander Jose Quintana. And you guys know that Ricky Holberman loves to hit against left-handed pitchers, and this is no different. So he loves to rake against these guys. So hopefully he can build off of that momentum that he had last season, hitting .263 with 17 bombs. Gotta love it. And first pitch of the 2020 season for Ricky is gonna go a what? Baboosh. A big-time boosh. For Ricky Holberman, a 383-foot shot. It's gonna be 4-1 early on here in the game. 21 pitches already by Jose Quintana, and he is struggling. So if you guys played him in fantasy, probably not a good idea, not a good start. Never play pitchers in Colorado if you're playing fantasy sports, right? All right, so bottom of the second, 5-2 game here. Runners on second and first, and look what Holberman does again. The second home run of the game for Ricky, and the Rockies are now up by 6. It's an 8-2 ball game. That one's a 493-foot shot. So literally 30 pitches later, Holberman gets home run number 2 off of Jose Quintana. And pretty interesting matchup here now. Mike Montgomery comes into relief, and he's a lefty. He's lefty facing off against Holberman, who already has 2 home runs, and he gives up the walk. So nothing doing on that walk. Rockies can't score Holberman. And yet again, we see Holberman up here in the bottom of the 7th, and he's going to drill this fastball out there to left field, and the left fielder cannot handle it. So Holberman's going to roll in with a double, and he's been on base 4 times already in this game. Opening day for 2020, you can't really start off any better than that, guys, honestly. So here's a long fly ball, and Marcell Ozuna is going to track this ball down, it looks like, but making a jump for it at the wall. It's not going to come down in his glove. It's going to be in the stands. Fans get a souvenir that is Geraldo Lopez with the 2-run shot. So he scores Holberman, and it's going to be 10-4 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Holberman with the ground ball to Chris Bryant, who throws over second base's head, and being an 11-4 game now, Holberman's just like, you know what, let's just get out of here with the W with an opening day win. Sun's starting to set here in Colorado. Why the heck not just get out of here and enjoy a nice steak at the restaurant, right? Because Ricky's being on base like 4 or 5 times already in this game, definitely earning his spot as the starting first baseman, and he's really, really enjoying the Colorado atmosphere, needless to say. So Rockies win, get the opening day W against the Chicago Cubs. Very good Chicago Cubs team again this season, so obviously a really good thing to get started off on the right foot. So we're going to go ahead and skip ahead into the second game here, a night game. It's the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Cubs are up by 1. Bases loaded with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, and Ricky's got to come through here. 2 pitches that he's swung at, high and outside, and low and away. So not pitches you want to chase if you're Ricky here, but he's going to get a fastball that's going to get a little bit low and got a little bit too far out in front of it and just fouled it off. So he's kind of trying to stay alive here for his teammates and get a nice rip down the line in a gap somewhere, possibly score 2, take the lead, get a home run even. That'd be really huge. Make it a 5-2 baseball game going in the top of the 9th. And as we see here, a fastball right down the middle, a little bit low, and it's in the gap, the center field, left field gap, and Holberman is going to get into second base. No, he's going for 3. He's going for 3, and he's going to slide in there, but Bryant tags him for the out. But guys, 3 runs are going to score, and it's going to be 4-2 Rockies here late And Rockies are going to end up winning the game. They're going to shut down the Cubs in the top of the 9th inning. And Mike Dunn gets the W. Really, really good performance there by the Rockies to just hang in there and take care of business at home against this Chicago Cubs team. So jumping a little bit forward into the next game, so the third game of the series, 6-2 Cubs, end of the 8th inning. And as you guys can see, Kyle Hendricks going to get the W for the Cubbies. So the first homestand on the season for the Rockies goes 2-1 against the Cubbies. We're going to jump ahead a little bit later in the season, and we're going to be on the road against the Seattle Mariners. I like this matchup, the Rockies and the Mariners. I don't know if it's just because it's two teams that don't get a lot of media attention, or if it's just the color schemes or what it is, but I just like the underdog type of stories. So we see here Holberman, end of the 7th inning, makes a diving grab here, makes the play at first base, so he's keeping his team in it. Top of the 9th, he comes up to bat, and he's going to send a long fly ball out there to left field. Can it get up? Can it get out? It cannot. It's going to be warning track power all day for Holberman, and that really would have been clutch. Really, really would have been clutch. Would have been a 4-3 ball game here going to the bottom of the 9th. Really would have put the Mariners out there on the ropes here at home early in the season. We're 5-1. Not sure what the Mariners' record is, but we got to get W's. Got to get W's. We got to fight off the LA Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants. I mean, Arizona Diamondbacks. There's teams out there in the West, the National League West, that are really competitive. And the Rockies, they always seem to put a competitive team out there, but they just can't ever seem to get it done when it matters the most, right? So now that they've got Ricky Holberman, hopefully things are changing as far as the culture goes. Maybe Nolan Arenado has a pal that wants to win just as bad as he does. So 3-3 game here in the top of the 11th. So neither team is really coming through here so far in this game. Nobody seems to really want it that much. These guys get an update here with Holberman's numbers. He's hitting 267. Not too bad. I'd like to see those numbers get up a little bit higher. I know that home and road splits are a big thing for Rockies hitters, but I still would like to see that get up there a little bit higher. I want to see him near the 300s batting in Colorado. So hopefully we can see those splits sometime soon. But top of the 14th here, and Holberman is starting to chase a little bit. So getting a little bit antsy here. And one thing I'm noticing too is a lot of the major league pitchers that he's facing right now, not really throwing him a lot of fastballs. And if they are, they're throwing them high and away or high and inside. They're just throwing them high, right? It's a really hard pitch to get on top of. Everything that's breaking is down and away or is low. And if you're gonna look for a breaking ball, you look for it right across the plate, guys. And that's what Holberman's gonna do here. So he comes through with a solo home run, his third of the season, a 452-foot shot, a big-time boosh. And the Rockies are going to take the lead here 4-3 in the top of the 14th. That's a way to pick your teammates up, boys. 5-1. We're going to be 6-1 now after this W. And the Rockies are playing with some fire here. So simulating a little bit further, we are now 18-11. And we're going to be taking on the LA Dodgers. And I mentioned them before that this is a team we got to watch out for, guys. 20-8. Yes, they are 20-8 on the season. Absolutely nuts. Let's get a little update here on Ricky's numbers. He's now hitting 277, 26 hits, 14 runs, 4 doubles, 6 home runs. So he's well on his way to surpassing everything that he did out in Boston, right? 14 home runs in his rookie season, 17 home runs the very next year. Some of those obviously being split in time between the Red Sox and the Rockies. And we're only a couple games out of first place, right? So we're not totally out of this. I know it's early. It's really early in the season to even be talking about playoffs, but you don't want to get too far behind. You don't want to dig yourself into a huge, huge hole. All right, so here we are. Dodgers Stadium, taking on Brock Stewart of the LA Dodgers. Top of the second, 20 pitches in for Stewart, and Ricky is going to take this one low and inside. It's a fastball. Big thing is, about this Rockies and Dodgers matchup here. Clayton Kershaw going in the second game. How is the Rockies pitching staff going to be able to go toe-to-toe with him? How's the offense going to do on the road against him? It's going to be an interesting matchup. This one, probably not so much, but I do want to see Ricky do some big things here in preparation for having to face one of the best pitchers this game has really ever seen. So here's a long fly ball that he just got a little bit jammed into, and Andrew Tolles going to make the play out there in center field. Let's go to the top of the ninth, and in this game, it's a pitcher's duel. It's 1-0 LA, and Kenley Jansen's going to get Holberman out on a cut fastball that was just breaking in on him a little bit too much. Thought it was juicy. Thought it might have been a little bit slower. Was probably looking for like a slider that just didn't slide enough across the plate. Those cut fastballs are kind of deceiving because you see the movement and you're thinking it's going to be, harder of a break, and it really isn't. It just kind of cuts in. You get jammed. That's what happened to Holberman right there. So here we go. The matchup you guys have all been waiting for, right? Clayton Kershaw, top of the first inning, and Holberman is coming up to bat. You know that he rakes against lefties, but Clayton Kershaw is a different animal. He's going to get an early strike. He's going to toss him a changeup here on the outside and high. He's going to be going for a ball. 6 pitches into the Rockies' batting order for the top of the inning, for the beginning of the game. And Anthony Rendon actually playing third base for the Dodgers in this Road to the Show. He's going to make that play, and Holberman is going to ground out. Fastball high and right down the middle, and Tolles out there in center field is going to patrol this thing down. Holberman is going to be retired for the second time in the game, and it seems like Kershaw's got the youngster figured out here. So he's going to jam him again with a slider high and inside. Just started busting in on him. He's got him figured out. So Holberman is 0 for 3 against Kershaw, and in the top of the ninth, in a 6-0 shutout, he's going to end up hitting Ricky Holberman to put him on. So I don't know how I feel about that. I know he's at 93 pitches, but that's kind of a shady move in my opinion. You've got a ace pitcher like he is. You need to be throwing to that guy, trying to get him out. You got him out all day long. Unless of course, Kershaw is afraid of Ricky, knowing that, the shutout would be at risk if he hits a solo home run. So you see Ricky's base running aggressiveness right there. He's going to get to third base off of an error by Rendon. Ricky will get to home, but it's not going to score as the out was made before the run did score. So that is your ball game. The Dodgers are going to win against the Rockies, and so we ended up losing the series, advancing a little bit further in the season. Ricky now hitting .262 with 9 home runs, facing, you guessed it, another lefty, but this time it's Drew Pomeranz, former Boston Red Sox, former Oakland A. Interesting. Red Sox gave up on this guy, and the Mets took advantage of it, right? They always need pitching depth out there in New York. So I've noticed. Anyway, hopefully we get to face off against the other left-hander for the Mets in Steven Matz. That would be really nice for Ricky to really pump up those numbers. But he's going to fly out to center field, a little bit left of center. And Holberman is going to come up here in the top of the inning. We're going to skip a little bit further ahead, and it's going to be 8-2 Mets in the top of the 8th, facing off against a right-hander. He's going to take a ball high and outside. If Ricky hits a home run here, and I'm not saying that he is, because I honestly forgot. If he does hit a home run here, it will be 8-5 late in the game. Obviously, you're always looking for runs, but, brings it a little bit closer. And then, even then, you still got an uphill battle to climb, and you're probably not going to win the game. So you know what? You might as well do yourself a favor and swing for the fences. Am I right? Go after the individual stats. So Ricky is not looking for a double, not looking for a single. He's looking for a home run right now. 2-1 count here against the righty, and a fastball two-seamer. It's got a little bit of late life to it. Started busting in on that inside part of the plate there. Probably a good decision not to swing and just wait for your pitch. You got to fight. You got to fight it off and just wait for yours. Slider here on the outside, trying to get him to chase. Trevor Story is on deck. So I guess even if you walk here, it's not the end of the world because Trevor Story could possibly hit a home run too, make it 8-6. Fastball high and inside, just fighting that off. You don't want to get a strike called on you, so Holberman fights it off. 10 pitches in. Ricky, 3-2 count. Going to get that fastball right down the middle, and this thing looks like it's out. And it isn't out. Cespedes makes the catch at the warning track. Ugh. Ay. That sucks. Ricky's got that warning track power right now, guys. You saw it out in Seattle. And it's just, I don't know, he's just kind of losing that power stroke a little bit here. So hopefully he gets it back against the Diamondbacks here at home in Coors Field. So Rockies are starting to struggle. You guys saw their record now is at 34-37 as we were heading into New York. And now heading back home here in the bottom of the 7th inning against the Arizona Diamondbacks, it's 6-0, right? So obviously a lot of things going downhill for our Colorado Rockies and Holberman as well. I really thought that the infusion of him in this lineup was really going to do some damage, but maybe, very possibly, it's the defense. Maybe it's the pitching staff. I'm not sure. Maybe it's decisions like this. Holberman's going to end up trying to take third in a 6-0 game. I mean, this reckless type of attitude that Holberman has on the base path might not be sitting too well with the brass of the Rockies. And we saw this type of thing happen before with the base running aggressiveness and lack of team play with base running in Boston. Boston moved Holberman the day after he made a base running mistake, and now the Rockies are going to move on from Holberman and trade him to the Mets just a day after the base running mistake. So you got to start putting some things together here. Maybe they value Ricky's bat and not so much his base running. But the problem is that he is able to be a full-time starter. So you got to play him. You can't just pinch hit him for his bat, right? You got to play him in the field. He's a good fielding first baseman. He can play third. He's got a little bit of corner outfield experience. But the base running is kind of something you just have to deal with Holberman, I guess, right? But you see the numbers there, 252 right now, 10 home runs, 34 ribbies. So he's not like he's playing terribly. He's a 77 overall right now. He's the best first baseman that the Mets have. So he's starting immediately. See Wilmer Flores over there at third, Ahmed Rosario at short, Cespedes out in left, Conforto backing up Cespedes in left, Adam Eaton is in center field for the New York Mets, and then a prospect by the name of Greg Baker out there in right field. So perhaps the Mets are trying to push for a playoff spot. They are 47-45, only 5.5 games back of the Philadelphia Phillies. And it's a pretty cool matchup here, in my opinion, against the Padres. Hopefully against this less than stellar Padres pitching staff that Ricky can have kind of a resurgence. I know he's got 10 home runs right now, 17 last year. You know, he's definitely on the path to exceed those numbers that he put up last season. So he's improving year to year, but it'd be really nice to see how he performs in a Mets uniform. This is it's really, really weird. And I'm going to take a little break here from talking about the action you guys are seeing on screen here for a minute. I don't know if this happens to everybody in their road to the shows, but the trading logic in MLB The Show 18, 17, 16, it's always been bad for the CPU. A lot of players get traded for nothing. And it's really strange how the CPU values its own players on the roster. And so when you leave the CPU in charge of these things, it tends to make some really weird decisions, and you guys can see it here already in this road to the show. I mean, Holberman's been traded how many times? 3 times. He's been traded by the Red Sox, the Rockies, now from the Rockies to the Mets, so twice. He's been traded twice so far in 2 years. Kind of weird, kind of sucks for his career here and trying to find a home, and that's really what we're going to be looking for this offseason if we don't get offered arbitration, right? So you guys can see that he did get a single in his Mets debut Didn't really contribute much offensively, though. Did not score a single run. Didn't get any extra base hits, no RBIs, and we end up losing the baseball game. So here in the next game, in the bottom of the fourth, we got runners on first and second here, and Holberman's actually going to come through and get an RBI single to tie the ball game. It's going to be 1-1 now. Runners on first and third. So nothing doing there in that inning, and Holberman in the next at-bat that he's got in the bottom of the sixth is actually going to get a single. And now that's going to force runners to first and second. So a really nice approach by Ricky just to get around on that pitch and take it to left field and get around early. So here's a fly ball out to right field with bases loaded, and Hunter Renfroe is going to make the play. So yet again, the Mets are going to go down without scoring in a prime opportunity to do so. So in a 2-1 game here in the bottom of the eighth, Holberman comes through with a clutch home run, 384-foot bomb for his 11th on the season, and gotta like it, right? So Mets fans are loving it. Teammates are loving it. He's actually 3 for 4 in this game, upping that batting average to 258. It will be a 3-3 baseball game now, and Holberman is actually going to send this over Renfroe's head in the bottom of the 10th in a tie game, and Renfroe can't handle it, and Holberman's going to end up chugging along here for 3. He's going to slide in safely. Mets fans are going crazy. The bench is going nuts. Holberman's pumped up. Like I said, bottom of the 10th inning, you got to get a fly ball to score Ricky, and not going to take the chance here. You know, even if you did head on back, Renfroe's got a good enough arm right there, and it's shallow enough you don't want to try it, right? The game is on the line. We're trying to chase the Phillies in the National League East. You gotta win every game you can here, and Ricky's actually going to score as the shortstop elected to go to first base. He didn't even check 4. You got to check 4 and go 1 in that situation, and he just didn't. So I don't know if he forgot how many outs there were, thinking that it didn't matter if Ricky was going home on first contact. I don't know, but you got to throw home right there or you lose the game. And fortunately for the Mets, Holberman's base running right there did not cost them the game, right? So he kind of lucked out. 4 for 5, though. 2 runs scored, a home run, and 2 ribbies. I like what I'm seeing out of Ricky. Maybe he's finally finding his home here in a Mets uniform, the Mets pinstripes. So we are 49-49, and we are pretty much well out of striking distance against these Phillies, but we can make up some ground here in this series against the Phillies on the road. So we're facing off here against Aaron Nola, top of the second inning, though. And Nola, with that long, wavy locks, is going to throw a fastball right in at Holberman's knees, and he's not going to elect to swing at that, but he will elect to swing at this, a fastball high and outside, and he's going to pop it up to third base, and you can't really give him props for that. That was a really bad approach up there against a good pitcher like Nola. So next at bat with the Phillies leading here 2-0 in the top of the fourth. 2 down. Holberman coming up. Strike 1. Curveball, 78 mile an hour. 78 mile an hour cheese on the inside. And this is just not a good approach, man. You got to get a pitch you can hit. And he's going to get one here. A fastball right down the middle. And at least we move a runner into scoring position. So you got to give your teammates a shot. And he does right there. So you got to like that. But nothing happened. Go figure, right? The Mets offense has been historically bad over the last few years. They haven't been able to do anything. They always seem to get these guys that hit 250, 260 with no power. I don't know. It seems like it's that same way again, even with Ricky here in the lineup. So it's currently, when the score pops up here, 8-0. It was we were right in there. We were within striking distance and just couldn't keep up with the Phil's offense here. So nothing doing. It's going to 8-0 here, top of the 9th inning, and Ricky's at least going to get on the board here with a home run. He's kind of getting this tag here that he hits these home runs when it doesn't matter, right? It's 8-2 game, hits a 2-run shot, makes it a 6-run game. Phillies are going to win this game here. So Nola gets the win, and the Mets are going to fall to 49-50. So we're going to go ahead and head to the very next game against Vince Velasquez. 5-6, 3.86 on the season, so he's not doing too terrible. And we know that Ricky doesn't really do very well against right-handed pitchers, but if ever there was a pitcher that you could hit against, it's Vince Velasquez, right? He does have some good stuff, though. See that fastball's got a little bit of movement to it. It cuts a little bit to the right. That's a four-seamer that moves a little bit. It's not often you do see that. So his off-speed stuff is pretty good, but has a hard time locating it. So if you get that fastball, you got to be ready to hit. You got to be ready to swing. He does have that high velocity, as you guys can see there. Flamethrower at that 95. Just hitting that outside corner. Missed it for a strike. 2-1 here, 11 pitches in so far for Velasquez, and Holberman does get a hold of this one, but Rhys Hoskins out there in left field is going to make the grab, and that's a pretty good play out there in left field. That ball was stung. So here is Velasquez yet again against Holberman, and Holberman's going to send him deep. Mets already up 2-0 here in the top of the third, and Holberman's going to go lift off on a 432-foot shot. That's his 14th home run on the season, and Velasquez is looking at it like, what the heck just happened? I threw my best fastball. That was a hard heater, and Holberman just deposited it, man. He just put a good swing on it. So here we go in the top of the next inning, and 7-3 game with a runner on first, and Holberman's going to hit another home run. Second of the day, 378-foot bomb, and that's off Zach Eflin. It's going to be 9-3 now, and Holberman's finding his groove here, finding his stroke. It's going to be 12-3, and the Mets are piling it on. Top of the eighth now, 2 down, and Holberman's going to get into second base. Ooh, barely. Bogarts, former teammate Xander Bogarts, is going to make the tag, but nothing happening. So Ricky finding his stroke. The Mets doing some good things, but not so fast. He got hot, and now they're moving him. The Mets are trading Ricky Holberman. So he's going to pack his bags again. What else can you say at this point if you're Ricky Holberman? He just says, all right, okay, seems to be becoming a habit. Everywhere I go, I just play ball. Just put on a uniform, I just play. I ball out. So the day before the trade deadline. So basically, the Mets acquired Holberman's services just to trade him away, right? They wanted to acquire him. They wanted to see if he's going to get hot. And right before the deadline, they end up trading him to a team that needs a first baseman and is in the playoffs, right? The Mets, after a couple losses here in July, they were pretty much out of it, right? So Holberman was with the Mets for at least 3 weeks, got hot at the right time, ended up getting a good deal for him, and I will show you guys who he was traded for in a little bit. So you guys can see they're 12.5 games out of first. It's just nothing happening there for him. The Red Sox were 5 games out of first place behind the Blue Jays, so maybe they saw the writing on the wall. I mean, they did lose Xander Bogarts as well. Indians are in first place. We're in first place. Twins, Yankees, you guys can see it there. Blah, 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 blah. So let's take a look at the Astros lineup here for this playoff team. Holberman now up 1 overall to 78 overall. Johan Chavez, second baseman. Alex Bregman locking down third base. Shortstop Carlos Correa. So not much has changed, even in 2020. Rob Pena, the left fielder. George Springer and Jake Marisnick and Josh Reddick in right field, along with Jorge Soler out there in right field as well. So you can see Holberman's numbers now. He's got 16 home runs, 49 RBIs. So he's really close, but he's consistent, right? He's really consistent with his performance from year to year. And you guys actually saw how hot he has been, hitting about 330, 340 in the last 10 games. So again, that's really the script that I'm choosing to write here or to explain in that narrative. I really think that that's what the Mets were doing, is they wanted to acquire a guy that could play and then eventually ship him if they didn't make a playoff push, and that's exactly what happened. So First look at Holberman in an Astros uniform. We're wearing the orange against the Chicago White Sox. So kind of reminiscent of that 2005 World Series, right? Matt Shoemaker taking them out. That's probably not a name that a lot of people are familiar with. He pitched for the Angels, and he's from Michigan. He played baseball out at Eastern Michigan, I believe. So Holberman's first at bat against Matt Shoemaker. He's going to fly out to center field, but he gave it a ride, and that's honestly what I'm looking for here with this new look Ricky Holberman, right? Playoff Ricky Holberman. Got to get it done. Got to shoot for that World Series and that AL West division title. So he does get on, does get that base hit. It's going to be 4-1 in the bottom of the sixth, and being aggressive here is Ricky. He's going to get a stolen base. And his next at bat, with the Astros being up 5-1 in the bottom of the eighth, Holberman's going to get in with a double. So I kind of like the fit here with the Astros, because he doesn't have to be the guy, right? You've got guys like this team's already won a World Series. You know, you got Springer, you got Correa. There's no more Jose Altuve though, right? So you've got guys that can kind of take the pressure off of Holberman here and just kind of let him do his thing. Just rake, man. You got protection in the lineup. You got people in front of you. You got people behind you that can do some things. Some veterans as well. So it's a good match, and you guys can see he's getting really comfortable here in Houston. Off the ringing double off of that wall. We get a base hit out here to right field, and he's going to ignore the sign here for just a quick second, but he's going to get back, and it's going to be an RBI. There you go. So 1-0 here for Houston. So bases loaded, 2-1 count, and we get a ground ball out there to right field, and throw comes into the cutoff man, but Holman's already there to score. 2-0 Houston. Jump to the bottom of the seventh inning with Houston up 6-0, and Holman's actually going to get in on another double. So he's feeling it right now, guys, in Houston. He's taking over his hot streak that he had in New York over here to Houston. Gotta love it. So here's Wilson Ramos coming up big time with an RBI, and Holman's not going to stop. He's going to round third and head for home and give his catcher another RBI. So it's a 2 RBI single for Wilson Ramos, and the Astros are going to win this game. I like what's going on here. And now the media is getting in with Ricky, asking him, what's the atmosphere like? How are things going? You've been traded twice so far in your young career. What's it like to be in a winning organization's locker room, right? Not saying that Boston wasn't a winning organization, or not even, well, the Rockies and Mets. Yeah, I guess you can't really consider them a winning organization. No offense to you guys out there, but, there's not a lot of history right there, right? So, Ricky, being Mr. Humble, saying all the right things. 26 home runs. Kind of have to be humble at that point, right? I know you're having a lot of success, but you're kind of just really grateful that you've been traded to a organization that's in a situation to possibly win a World Series, to get to the playoffs, right? You're not just sitting there on a team that, doesn't really have a whole lot of things going on for them, right? With the Mets having a lot of payroll issues, the Rockies, they haven't even tried to win with Nolan Arenado, right? I mean, there's not a lot going on out there, right? So Holman's kind of lucky here to be in Houston, having already won a World Series, being surrounded by all these guys we just talked about, and it's going to free him up a little bit. And you guys can see, playing against Texas, the rival, 3-run home run, number 27 on the season for a 446-foot bomb off of former teammate Matt Andriese out in Boston. It's now going to be 6-0 here in the bottom of the fourth, and the fans are loving the new addition of Mr. Ricky. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be 8-6, so the Texas Rangers take the lead back. It was 6-0, keep in mind. Now it is 8-6 in the bottom of the ninth. So it's a crucial situation here for the Astros. With a runner on first base and Ricky already having hit a 3-run home run earlier in the game, it's a big-time at-bat. And you guys can see here, line drive out there left field. Is it going to get enough? It is. It's going to be that line drive right there, right over top of that wall. Gotta love it, guys. 8-8, and this game is tied. So Holberman comes through in the clutch, and again, the fans are going crazy out there in Houston. They love this guy. They don't want him to leave. Don't leave, Ricky. Come back. Remember, I had mentioned this before. After this offseason, we're going to have to make a decision on where we're going to go, because now we're up for arbitration. We could sign. We could become a free agent if we don't decide to sign. There's a lot of things that could happen here after this season. So if we see that there's a good fit here with Houston, we could just re-sign, right? But the Rangers are going to still come back and win this game. It's almost like the CPU just didn't want us to win it all, right? We are a half a game back to the Angels. And we got a 3-game series coming up against those LA Angels. Head coach giving us a boost, giving us a pep talk. Ricky taking it all in. You guys can see the splits there. 289 on the road, 256 at home, but pretty consistent across the board with home runs and RBI production. This is a tough game. This is a tough game for us. We've been kind of slipping a little bit in some other of these simulated games here, but you got to have this one. Like I said, you're a half a game back from the Angels. Who knows what's going to happen, guys, honestly. I mean, at this point, anything can happen. Two really close teams down the wire, down the stretch, and pretty much the last week of the season. It's a big-time series, I don't really want to get it to a situation where you need help to get in. So you guys can see Ricky Holberman did not come through in his at-bat. Had a really clutch situation, put a good swing on it, but left fielder was able to grab it. Here is Tyler Skaggs throwing against Holberman here. 6-1 lead, though, in the top of the sixth. So it seems like we had some situations here for Holberman to come through, and you know it's not a one-man game, as I've mentioned before. But the team's got to come through. But you guys are only seeing Holberman's at bats, right? So you have no idea how the rest of the team is performing here. So we do see that Holberman is now got the count back to even here, 2-2, and you got to get on base any way you can. So there's still time to make a score here and get a big inning. But Holberman's actually going to ground out to shortstop. That's not what you wanted to do, and it's going to be end of the inning. So here in the top of the eighth, it's going to be 12-1, and Holberman is going to race into second base. He's going to get an RBI, but it's going to be 12-2, and it's going to cut it down to 10. But, you know, top of the eighth inning, you guys knew what was in store, right? Just it wasn't going to happen. So the Angels are going to win this game, and now they're going to be a game and a half ahead of us heading into the last 2 games of the season. Not a good situation here. You guys saw the wild card. The wild card, right? A little bit there. Yeah. This is a big series against the Texas Rangers. If we can get a sweep and the Angels lose maybe 2 games in their next 3, we're going to be in a pretty good spot to eventually win this division. Now, the issue is that if we both tie, then you got to play a 1-game playoff. So it'll be Houston against the LA Angels, right? So we want to take care of business here against the Texas Rangers, our rival, right? So we see a ground ball here in that 5.5 hole from shortstop to third base, and Holberman's just going to round third and head for home, and we're just tacking on the runs, guys. Just tacking them on. Just keep piling them on. You guys can see the runs scored entering play today. So 772 for both the Angels and the Astros, so both teams can score a ton of runs. And you guys see what we did. We ended up winning that series, and we have to play against the Angels in a 1-game playoff to determine who's going to be the AL West Division champs. Wow. Right? You play a 162-game season, and it all comes down to 88 and 74. Right? So it comes down to 1 stinking game. Here's the other situation. Even though we're playing for the division title, losing this game does not mean you automatically get into the wild card. Since there were 2 other American League teams that tied, they also have to play another 1-game playoff. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So losing this game doesn't mean that you get a wild card spot. So there's a lot on the line here, and we got to get this W. So Holberman facing off against Garrett Richards. Astros are already up 1-0. And by the way, guys, did I mention that Holberman is now stuck at 29 home runs? So we were looking for a home run against The Rangers in Globe Life Park. I always call it the ballpark in Arlington. Didn't happen. So he gets one more game. He gets one more game to try to get to 30 home runs on the season, because technically this is still a regular season game, right? It's not a playoff game. It's a regular season game. So tied 1-1 here, and looky, Holberman with the cookie. 2-1. Home run now. Astros up. 2-1. Home run number 30 for Ricky. So he finally gets that milestone home run. Congratulations to Holberman, and it actually helped put the Astros up, but guess what? He's going to get, I thought he was going to get another one, but he's going to get a double off the wall there in right field in the top of the sixth. That's yet again another crucial hit for the Astros, and it's going to be 2-2 here still. We do get a fly ball out there to right field. It's actually a line drive, and check it out. Holman's going to end up being aggressive here and slide into home. Can he get in for the lead? He gets in. Safe is the call. 3-2. Alex Bregman comes on and comes up clutch. And as we go to the top of the seventh, the Astros will tack on yet another run, and it's going to be 5-3 now. 3-0 count for Holberman here. Getting a strike right down the middle. This is Tyler Skaggs throwing. This is a crucial situation for both squads here, guys. Ricky loves to hit against lefties. I don't know why Skaggs is even in the game here, but a fastball with the showtime, and he grounds into a double play. Ricky, you had it. That was your moment. We're going to jump ahead here to the top of the ninth with a runner in scoring position. Keep this in mind. 2 are out. Runner in scoring position. If you get an RBI here, you're probably most likely to win the game. Ground ball right over third base, but it's called foul. It's called foul. That looked like it was a fair ball, but I'm not going to question the CPU in that. Here's a curveball, which is clearly going to be a ball, but you know what? This umpire had been calling balls and strikes really odd all game long, so you got to swing. You got to swing. You can't make the last out looking, guys. So Holberman swings, puts a good swing on it into center field, and it's going to get caught out there, and guess what? The Angels end up winning the game here off of an Evan Gattis solo home run. Walk-off fashion. Angels are going to win this game. Now keep in mind, this does not mean that we're eliminated, right? So we're going to go ahead and check it out and see if we ended up making it. Postseason MVP right now is Mike Trout. Brian Dozier won the MVP for the season. Clayton Kershaw won the National League. There you go. American League title for batting title was J.D. Martinez. National League was Bryce Harper to the Giants. Nonetheless, pretty funny, right? He ended up going to the Giants. Maybe that's going to happen in real life. Who knows? You guys can see also that the Hank Aaron Award went to Paul Goldschmidt and Mike Trout. So as you guys can see, we're already in the retirement stage. So therefore, we did not make the playoffs. We did not make the playoffs. Sucks. But the Twins did, in fact, make a World Series appearance yet again, and they ended up losing again. So Twins, I don't know what to say. They're just they're not clutch. So we're going to go ahead and get into the offseason here. I'm not going to show you guys until next episode for episode 10 where Ricky decides to sign, but we do have a lot of offers on the board, and I will show that to you guys in the next episode. So if you like this thing, make sure you leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one on Friday. As always, peace.